Mitigating global climate change requires integrating national forestry sectors into standardized, internationally recognized carbon frameworks. To participate, organic ecosystems must be translated into math, measured, precise. This is the objective of Cambodia's National REDD Strategy, covering the period from 2017 to 2026. The physical baseline is massive. Over 41% of Cambodia's total national territory exists within the protected area system. Mapping a border and declaring a zone protected does not automatically trigger international climate finance, nor does it generate global carbon credit recognition. Millions of trees can sequester carbon physically, but without empirical tracking, that reduction is absent from the global balance sheet. For a nation to monetize its conservation efforts, it must construct a highly structured, internationally recognized measurement architecture. The 2017-2026 strategy provides a strict institutional and technical blueprint for national resource management. It mandates a highly specific transition pipeline, forcing the forestry sector to move from a state of readiness to a state of proven results. The pipeline begins with Phase 1, spanning 2017 to 2021. This period focuses entirely on institutional readiness, capacity building, and gathering baseline data. The end goal is Phase 2. From 2022 to 2026, the focus shifts to active measurement and lauding verifiable emissions reductions. Each phase carries a distinct financial reality. Phase 1 requires upfront investment to build the system. Phase 2 utilizes that system to trigger results-based global payments. A developing nation cannot leapfrog to getting paid for carbon. It must mathematically prove its institutional capacity first. Before technical data collection can begin, the government must establish clear operational mandates across its territory. Strategic Objective 1 focuses on managing and monitoring forest resources and mapping land use. Objective 2 dictates the physical implementation of sustainable forest management. Objective 3 scales these efforts by building institutional capacity and engaging local stakeholders. These three REDD+ pillars integrate directly into Cambodia's domestic policies, like the National Forest Program, to address the actual economic drivers of deforestation. Without these governance pillars secured, technical carbon data collection collapses under a lack of legal enforcement. Phase 1 operates under a strict constraint. Implementation is historically hindered by inadequate financial and technical resources, requiring mobilization of upfront, non-results-based international finance. That finance funds a specific technical mandate, building the components required by the United Nations Warsaw Framework. This graph plots historical forest loss to project a future baseline. Known as the Forest Reference Level, or FRL, it demonstrates exactly what carbon emissions will be if no intervention occurs. Next is the design of the National Forest Monitoring System, or NFMS. The two operate in tandem. The FRL is the static historical baseline. The NFMS is the active tracker monitoring current physical reality. The final technical requirement is the Safeguards Information System, or SIS. The SIS performs a highly specific function. It ensures that environmental protections and indigenous rights are mathematically tracked alongside the carbon, rather than merely promised in policy documents. By the end of 2021, Phase 1 yields no tradable carbon credits. Instead, it successfully builds the machinery capable of doing so. In 2022, the strategy mandates a strict pivot from building capacity to active execution. Phase 2 targets the acquisition of results-based payments from the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Under the strict UNFCCC mechanism, national emissions reductions must be definitively measurable and verifiable on the ground to qualify for international financial compensation. The National Forest Monitoring System, constructed entirely in Phase 1, is activated to capture real-time, on-the-ground forest data. This dual-axis chart visualizes the core mathematical equation of Phase 2. It compares the real-time NFMS data against the Phase 1 baseline to find the delta, the exact volume of carbon emissions saved. Phase 2 also enforces a final transparency mandate, the establishment of a functioning, web-based public disclosure mechanism for all collected data. Public data disclosure is mandatory to achieve international compliance and to secure trust from global financial institutions evaluating the emissions results. Phase 2 completes the transition. Cambodia moves from holding a theoretical carbon sink into functioning as an audited, revenue-generating participant in the global climate economy. The sequential law of REDD+ is uncompromising. Rigorous data architecture must precede financial compensation. But beneath the accounting mechanisms are the actual physical trees being preserved. The value flows sequentially. Physical trees are protected locally, quantified nationally by the active monitoring system, verified against the historical baseline, and converted into international financial value. The strategy facilitates poverty alleviation by formalizing community-based natural resource management and providing tenure security to indigenous peoples. By codifying these rights within the carbon framework, local conservation efforts are directly integrated into the national economic model. Macroeconomically, it drives Cambodia toward a green economy and a low-carbon development pathway. Ultimately, the strategy fulfills a commitment to the international community to actively mitigate global climate change. Cambodia's national REDD+ strategy provides the legal and technical bridge linking local forest conservation directly to global climate survival.